I understand why that nigga saying, you feel me? If I was you, I would hate too, you feel me? Like,
From making viral drill music while living in a shelter, and creating the song that would change Brooklyn drill forever.
Who's the most influential drill artist that came out since 2017 to now? You know what I'm gonna say? I'm gonna say Sheff G and Sleepy Hollow.
Sheff G went from inspiring artists such as Pop Smoke
I started looking up beats. And when I looked up beats, I looked up Sheff G song.
to being accused of using his rap money to fund a gang war that terrorized New York. This is the story of how Sheff G ruined his career. Before the fame, before the headlines, Sheff G was just Michael Williams, born September 23rd, 1998 in Flatbush, Brooklyn. He shared a one-bedroom apartment with his mother, grandmother, aunts, cousins, and sisters. As a kid, rap was never the priority. He wanted to be a gangster, not for the violence, but for respect. We didn't look at gangsters as killers. They were the ones we looked up to. They would support everyone, and I wanted to be just like that. As any mother would, she tried to keep him out of trouble, but by the age of 12, it was too late. He joined the 8 Trade Crips, fully aware of what came with it. Gang in Brooklyn is tradition. You gotta have that mindset that things can go wrong at any time, and I was always prepared for the consequences. And for Sheff, there were plenty of consequences. High school consisted of constant fights and suspensions. At one point, he was supposed to jump his current best friend and duo, Sleepy Hollow, but Sleepy stood his ground, and he earned Sheff's respect.
When we was younger, we wasn't cool. You feel me? Like, me and him was supposed to be beefing it. Feel me? Like,
We supposed to meet and fight,
We
but like
supposed
when
to
we
meet and
met,
fight.
it wasn't. We didn't really fight. We didn't fight.
nothing.
Like we just got mad cool.
Sheff continued getting into trouble, and an incident at Kings Plaza Mall forced him to drop out of high school. A group of guys walked past and started disrespecting him. Sheff fired back at them, and moments later, they spun around 12 to 13 deep. He decided to walk away instead of fighting, but they continued to follow him. This led to Sheff aiming the blick at them. However, he didn't notice police were watching. Instead of running, he gave himself up. He avoided jail time, but was handed 5 years probation. Getting in trouble with the law didn't end there, as he would do 16 months for a felony gun charge and robbery. After his release, he decided to give music a shot. Inspired by Chicago drill, the song Kill by G Herbo and Lil Bibby made Sheff realize people in Chicago are going through the same thing as him in New York. He was also influenced by Chief Keef, 50 Cent, and Biggie.
Of course I won, I eat while they feast, I hunt.
Sheff had the blueprint to become New York's next big star. So how did a kid from Flatbush take that blueprint and turn it into a movement? On April 19th, 2017, Sheff would drop the music video for his first song, For Them Racks, featuring Sleepy Hollow. But what came next changed everything. Sheff released No Suburban, a track that would put Brooklyn drill on the map and change the drill genre forever. This song was allegedly a response to 22 Jesus' track Suburban, but Sheff never confirmed it.
When I listen to No Suburban, to me it sounds like a diss record.
I look better than you, I smell better than you, I rap better than you.
22 G's, a gangster disciple from Flatbush, was already building his own wave. His use of UK drill style beats had reshaped the sound of New York, and he's widely considered to be the founder of New York drill. The beef between Sheff and 22 G's is one that runs deep, and while 22 G's has said he's open to ending it,
like I was saying in my other interview, I doubt we'd be 40 years old chasing each other down the street, you feel me?
Yeah.
It don't make sense, so we might as well start figuring it out from now.
it's unclear if Sheff is ready for that.
Tell Tuso I'ma sign him right now, tell him pull up. I sign him right now. Kodak signed him for 5 bands. Tell him give him 10, 20 bands right now. Come pull up.
Not only did No Suburban change Sheff G's life, it also put his life at risk. After a meeting with his probation officer, he ran into one of his ops, allegedly Nick Blicky, who's also associated with 22 G's and the Blicky gang, and Sheff got stabbed in the head from behind. Nick Blicky was an up-and-coming rapper, but in May 2020, he was shot and killed at the age of 21. In Sheff G's song, Start Some he references this incident. Remember I got cut, the ops is all in a spliff. But it's never been confirmed if Nick Blicky is the one who did it. It didn't take long for No Suburban to start making noise around the city. Sheff said, in almost 2 weeks, I was at 500,000 and I couldn't believe it. All of a sudden, I would go outside and people would ask for pictures and I didn't know how to react. It got so big that when I was sleeping, I would hear it playing out the window and eventually couldn't even take the train no more. Despite the local fame, Sheff was still facing problems. He was still broke, living in a shelter, facing a gun charge, and had no car, which made it difficult for him to make his court dates. Not only did he drop No Suburban while living in a shelter, he also dropped Panic with Sleepy Hollow and Double G. All those songs that made everything what it was, when we was making them, I was still broke, I was still down, I was still coming up. So what I wanted to do was show everybody, like, look, you don't gotta just start off with gold chains and jewelry and money and all that. We started with nothing. We was wearing $100 Puma suits. Just as the buzz started building, Sheff went back to jail and life had to be put on pause. I was just with the wrong people at the wrong time. I'm not allowed to talk about that. But for 6 months, no music, no social media, nothing. Fans was saying I fell off and it was killing me because I wanted to put music out. What Sheff didn't know was that his comeback would change the course of his music career forever. After getting out of jail, Sheff noticed something surprising. His second biggest fan base was in the United Kingdom. So he hit up the UK-based YouTube channel, Press Play Media, and uploaded his first song since being home, Panic Part 2. He followed it up by releasing Love Me Now, On Me, and Panic Part 3. But his real breakout wouldn't come until 2019. He started the year off by dropping the song Automatic, featuring Sleepy Hollow. And from that point on, everything he put out became a hit, such as Flows, Tonight, and We Getting Money. That same year, he took a major step as he would create his own record label, Winner Circle, alongside Sleepy Hollow, Eli Frost, and producer Great John. And on September 27th, 2019, he released his first mixtape, The Unlucky Lucky Kid, featuring 14 tracks. In 2020, he dropped the track Moody, and the sequel to the song that started it all, No Suburban Part 2. He also put out 2 albums, One and Only, which peaked at 99 on Billboard's Top 200, and Proud of Me Now. Then came the EP Just For Y'all, which featured names like King Von, Lil TJ, and Rich the Kid. By this point, Sheff G had more than proven himself. But it wasn't just the music, it was the influence. He helped shape an entire generation of drill artists and redefine what Brooklyn drill could sound like. Because when you talk about Brooklyn drill, it starts with Sheff G, but you can't mention Sheff without mentioning Sleepy Hollow. After that, Pop Smoke. Pop wasn't just a fan, he was a student of the movement. He searched up Sheff G type beats for his first song. His breakout single, NPR, was a remix of Panic Part 3. He name-dropped Sheff in his song Flexin' and appeared in Sheff's Welcome Home video. And the two were seen in the studio together often.
Bro was outside with us, bro was in the videos, bro was popping out, you feel me? You see, Pop was a student to the game before he actually jumped in the game. You understand what I'm trying to show you?
As Pop Smoke grew, so did Fabio Foreign. Before the fame, Fabio and Pop were already close friends. It would be in 2019 when Fabio would release his breakthrough single, Big Drip, and really started making noise around the city. He would appear in many songs with Pop, such as Showing Off Part 1 and 2, Sweetheart, Zoo York featuring Lil TJ, and Clueless featuring Polo G. After Pop's death, Fabio carried the torch. His feature list is phenomenal, working with Kanye West, Quavo, A$AP Rocky, Meek Mill, and more. Fabio and Sheff would eventually connect on tracks too, such as Kiss Your Neck and Waiting. But Sheff's influence didn't stop in Brooklyn. His sound made waves in the Bronx, influencing artists like B-Love, who was a big part of Bronx Drill's peak in 2021.
Of all time, you want a really all time? Alright, Sheff G. Sheff G, No Suburban. That's New York stamp. Okay.
Sheff helped shape a genre, built a label, and earned respect locally and globally. But none of that would matter once the streets started calling again. By now, you might be wondering, why didn't Sheff G reach the heights of Pop Smoke, Fabio Foreign, or even Sleepy Hollow? The answer is simple. It was all self-inflicted. Sheff had already been in trouble with the law before. But on August 21st, 2020, he made a decision that nearly destroyed everything. He was driving through Long Island when he noticed he was being tailed by police. Instead of stopping, Sheff hit the gas. A high-speed chase followed, ending with him crashing into a woman's brand new Cadillac. She suffered injuries to her neck, back, and right shoulder. And Sheff lost control, slamming the car into a residential front yard. Despite all the damage, Sheff was never criminally charged, but the woman filed a lawsuit against him, and that wouldn't be his last run-in. Just 5 months later, January 22nd, 2021, Sheff was pulled over in East Flatbush for speeding and making an illegal U-turn. This time, police found a loaded Glock in the car. He was arrested and charged with reckless driving, a license plate violation, and 3 counts of criminal possession of a weapon. After posting $35,000 bail, Sheff took to Instagram saying, "I'ma live it up to the fullest every single day. NYPD, suck my, free my dogs." But the streets weren't done with him yet. On July 15th, 2021, Sheff G was arrested again, this time on a second-degree felony weapons charge. His bail was denied, and his next court hearing was set for August 18th. Even while behind bars, the music didn't stop. Pre-recorded videos dropped like On Go with Polo G and Run It Up with Sleepy Hollow and A Boogie. But this time, the consequences caught up, and on October 21st, Sheff was officially sentenced to 2 years in prison. As Sheff was just about to finish his 2-year sentence and potentially be released on June 15th, 2023, everything would come crashing down once again. Just a month before his release, Sheff G, Sleepy Hollow, and 30 other 8-Tray and 9-Way affiliates were arrested on a 140-count indictment. They were at war with the Folk Nation GDs and the ICG Babies for the past 4 years, and the indictment covered 27 acts of violence, including 12 shootings. Out of the 12 shootings, there were 13 victims and 1 fatality, including Theodore Sr., aka Sniper Blicky, an alleged member of the Folk Nation GDs. Things got worse for Sheff, as prosecutors claimed Sheff wasn't just a member of the 8-Tray Crips, he was the leader. They say he used his music money to fund the gang's activity. And 2 days after Sniper Blicky passed away, Sheff rewarded his members by taking them to dinner. The indictment was devastating, not just for Sheff, but for the entire crew. Things got so bad for the 8-Tray Crips that they couldn't even trust their members anymore. It was on April 2021 when the ICG Babies allegedly shot up Sheff G's mansion in New Jersey in hopes of taking him out. The day after the shooting, Sheff and other 8-Tray members went looking for the ones who did it. They started firing shots but missed their targets, instead hitting 2 innocent bystanders. Fortunately, they survived, but it was later found out a member of the 8-Tray Crips leaked Sheff's address. Overall, alleged members of the indictment faced charges such as second-degree M, second-degree attempted M, second-degree conspiracy, weapons charges, kidnapping, and other violent charges. And the worst part for Sheff, he was 1 month away from becoming a free man once again, but that 1 month turned into up to 25 years. Despite the weight of the charges and claims that Sheff was leading it all, on April 21st, 2024, he was granted a $10 million bond and walked free the same day after posting $1.5 million in bail. On the day of his release, he posted on Instagram saying, "10 million bond, 1.5 million cash bail was the ticket. Paid bail same day. Are you dumb? Sheff G back. New York, we lit. They counted me out. They thought I was done. Peace and love." Since its release, he's been teasing tracks on social media, and on May 15th, he dropped his first song, Everything Lit, and it currently has 8.1 million views on YouTube and 11.4 million streams on Spotify. He's appeared on YouTube videos, has done multiple interviews, and freestyled on Funk Flex and On The Radar. But what nobody expected was for Sheff to walk on stage with Donald Trump at his Bronx campaign rally, openly showing his support. Since being back, he's dropped track after track, and his album, Proud of Myself, which debuted at number 5 on Spotify. Songs keep being teased and dropped. Spirits seem high on social media, and Sheff looks like he never left. But you can't escape the law, because on March 26, 2025, the Brooklyn DA announced Sheff G will be sentenced to 5 years in prison and 5 years post-release supervision after pleading guilty to second-degree attempted M and second and fourth-degree conspiracy. District Attorney Gonzalez said notoriety could not shield his defendant from justice. He used his fame to fund and direct violence, terrorizing our streets, and though we sought a much longer sentence, he will now be held to account. How much time Sheff will actually serve? That's unclear, and with Donald Trump back in office and Sheff publicly endorsing him, you have to wonder, did Sheff plead guilty with a potential pardon in mind? Whatever the case is, he's done a lot in a short amount of time, and now all you can hope for is that he stays focused, because Sheff G was never just a drill rapper, he's the godfather of New York drill.